Part 3. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 21. After eating, Sun Yueling whispered, "I already took a bath before I came, do you want to take a bath?" Lin Feng was very embarrassed. Could it be that Sun Yueling had guessed that he would not take a bath for 3 days? It doesn't matter. If you don't want to wash, then don't wash it. I don't think you are dirty, and you are not dirty at all. Lin Feng felt that maybe Sun Yueling didn't smell anything at all and just wanted him to take a bath. He planned to take a bath. Although he was going to do that with Sun Yueling again, Sun Yueling would not be his wife. Sun Yueling would marry him. A man who doesn't know who it is now. He is using the body of that man's future wife in advance. He intends to use Sun Yueling's body and at the same time pay attention to protection. If he has used it, other men will not be able to use it anymore. That was his fault. When you use a woman's body, you should pay attention to protection, and it's the same principle to protect the environment while enjoying social resources. You have lived enough, and later people, pollution is very troublesome, and damage is even more troublesome. When Lin Feng took a shower and returned to his room, Sun Yueling had already put on a nightgown and lay on the bed. The nightgown was brought by her, and it looked elegant on her body. Lin Feng lay sideways beside Sun Yueling, touched her plump body, kissed Sun Yueling's red lips, and then began to kiss her buds. Sun Yueling, who was panting, couldn't help the excitement, shouted a few times and quickly bit the sheet again. Cao Shuiying heard it. She was surprised. Could it be that Lin Feng is looking for Miss again? The sound should not come from that kind of movie, but from a real woman. Lin Feng, you are quite a romantic boy. You can't make a lot of money as a lowercase writer. If you are always looking for a lady, you will spend at least 300 and 500 to play with it all night. You can really waste it? Sun Yueling knelt on the bed, and Lin Feng rushed into her body from behind and pushed up hard. Sun Yueling was crawling, panting heavily. When the pleasure hit, even though she was biting on the sheets, she still made a very provocative cry. Cao Shuiying had already started pinching her watch. She knew that Lin Feng would not stop because the woman had reached an orgasm. He would continue to exercise. He was very strong. Lin Feng knew that Sun Yueling was getting pleasure, but his movement became more violent. Sun Yueling couldn't hold back a little, and he couldn't even kneel. He climbed directly onto the bed, and Lin Feng also climbed onto Sun Yueling's back and continued to attack hard. This time it didn't reach 50 minutes, only 40 minutes before Lin Feng ended the fight, but Cao Shuiying, who was next door, was still very surprised. It lasted so violently for more than 40 minutes, macho. Lin Feng, you are stronger than my 2 ex-boyfriends, but you don't have the money they have. If you are good with you, it means that you will fall behind. It doesn't matter if you sleep, generally you can't sleep badly, but you can't fall behind on your money, so you are not my type, Cao Shuiying thought. A blurred smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. Lin Feng didn't take Cao Shuiying as his food at first. Although Cao Shuiying is very beautiful, her character is not good. Even if she endures her character to date, there will be no result. But if a beauty like Cao Shuiying wanted to do that with him, Lin Feng would be very happy. Although Cao Shuiying already had a boyfriend and lived together, it didn't mean that her body wasn't top-notch, otherwise, all those beautiful and big-name female stars would be all over the place. It's not the best, and there won't be so many rich and famous people who like them. Sometimes, multiple rich and dignitaries play with a female star at the same time, and they will never dislike her for being a black fungus. As long as she has a beautiful face and a good figure and a big name, she is the best. After playing, let's talk about it. When you her, what did she do? When I got on her, what did she do? Lin Feng is very poor, but he can wander wildly, as long as someone is willing to accompany him. Sun Yueling was exhausted, stroking Lin Feng's chest and complaining, "Are you taking revenge on me just now? I always bother you, so you me hard. You're uncomfortable." "Of course it's comfortable, but you're pushing too hard, as if you have grievances against me," Sun Yueling said. "Don't think too much, I just wanted to be more comfortable with you, that's why I work so hard," Lin Feng said. It is already 3 in the morning. Lin Feng and Sun Yueling didn't start the second time. Lin Feng's head touched Sun Yueling's full chest, enveloped in the smell of body wash and perfume, and he slept soundly. Cao Shuiying hadn't slept yet, she was still waiting to pinch the watch, her hot body was very wet, her were wet, she thought. "Lin Feng, hurry up and do it for that woman, I can do it after pinching the watch. I'm going to sleep, I'm getting sleepy." It was after 5 o'clock in the morning that Lin Feng woke up. If Sun Yueling hadn't rode on him and wriggled, he wouldn't have woken up. This time, Sun Yueling didn't bite the sheets, she made an "oh-ah" sound from her mouth, but Cao Shuiying didn't hear it. She fell asleep and missed the opportunity to pinch the watch. Now that he was awake, Lin Feng began to cooperate with Sun Yueling to exert force. The movements were more accurate than Sun Yueling's alone. At the moment when the pleasure hit, Sun Yueling looked at Lin Feng's face with obsessive eyes. Although Lin Feng's appearance was average, in Sun Yueling in his eyes, he was handsome. It's a pity that Lin Feng couldn't marry her, and she couldn't afford to wait. Otherwise, after marrying Lin Feng, it would be fun to do that thing every once in a while. Before Sun Yueling left the partition room, he wanted to give Lin Feng 1,000 yuan to buy clothes, but Lin Feng decided not to ask for it. He and Sun Yueling were not selling themselves, and they absolutely could not ask for her money. Seeing that Lin Feng didn't want it, Sun Yueling didn't force it. He gave him a very bright smile and left, and Lin Feng went to sleep. Cao Shuiying's sleeping appearance was very indecent, her night dress was rolled up, her trousers were exposed, her silhouette was very hot, her legs were smooth and slender, bent at will. When she woke up, it was almost 8 o'clock in the morning. She immediately thought about pinching the watch. "Lin Feng, did you only have with that woman once? I decided not to believe it, but when did you start the second time? I missed it, so depressing." Cao Shuiying felt that there was a high possibility that the woman was a young lady, but there was also a situation where that woman was not a young lady, nor was Lin Feng's girlfriend, but his faithful partner. "You want to do it, I want to do it, so do it madly. You are not mine, and I am not yours, still do it madly. When you don't want to do it, and I don't want to do it, then no one knows anyone. If you want to do it, I don't want to do it, then quarrel and repair each other." When Lin Feng woke up, it was already past 10 o'clock. He got dressed and went to the bathroom with the things he washed. When Cao Shuiying heard the sound of the door slamming, she immediately became excited. It was the master on the bed who got up. Lin Feng came out of the bathroom after washing up and saw Cao Shuiying, who was still wearing a nightgown. She was very angry, because Cao Shuiying's face was much prettier than Sun Yueling's, and her figure was much better. Cao Shuiying can be used in many words to describe a woman's confidence. On the body. "Then what do you see me doing?" Lin Feng said. "It's nothing, it's just that I want to use the bathroom, but you're always in there." "Now that I'm out, go in quickly." Lin Feng returned to his partition room. There are many households in this big house, and the bathroom is often very busy, especially the office workers who get up at one point to wash up are convenient. They often meet each other and can only complain in line. There used to be a woman who couldn't wait to go back to the partition room and urinated in the basin. Lin Feng didn't see how she urinated, but heard a clattering sound. She urinated a lot and quickly moved away. Maybe it was suffocated once, enough was enough. When Lin Feng sat on a chair and lit a giant panda that Bai Shan had given him, Cao Shuiying came in. The beautiful neighbor was a bit too much and opened his door without knocking. Cao Shuiying had changed into a brightly colored casual outfit, walked over with graceful steps, and sat beside him. Why didn't you knock on the door? What if I didn't get dressed? I know you are wearing clothes. Actually, I wanted to knock on the door just now, but the action of knocking on the door turned into the action of opening the door. Anything with me? Wouldn't you like me to taste your craft again? Lin Feng thought to himself, if you give me good food, then I don't have to go out to eat at noon. What's so stinky? You can't eat one meal. You still want to eat it for nothing. My dad hates people who eat Ba Wang's meal the most. Your father is the owner of a restaurant. He definitely hates people who eat Ba Wang's meal, but between us, it seems that there is no such situation. Why don't you buy food and I'll do it? Cao Shuiying exposed her selfishness again, but Lin Feng didn't want to say anything about it. He was not Cao Shuiying's father anyway. I can't do it today. If I buy food in the future, I will let you do it. I also want to persuade you to say the last sentence, don't rent a house outside, move back to the dormitory, and don't be too harsh on your roommate. I used to have one. The roommate is very rich, but he is very generous to us. People are different. It's different, Lin Feng said. Let me see, what brand of cigarette are you smoking? It seems to be a panda, without that small print. Lin Feng thought to himself, there must be no such small print, because I smoke pandas, the high-end premium cigarettes, and it was given to me by a woman who was someone else's lover, but can I tell you this? Ah! Lin Feng, you impress me. You can smoke pandas. Your smoking level is on par with my father. In the past few years, giant pandas were rarely seen on the market, but in recent years, under the trend of high-end cigarettes, cigarettes have become more and more popular, and high-end cigarettes have emerged in an endless stream, so giant pandas have also been sold. As long as you have money, you can buy them to smoke. It seems that your father is not a very frugal person either. It is a virtue to be thrifty to others, but it is self-abuse to be thrifty to yourself. Of course, the money you earn will be spent on yourself. Cao Shuiying put forward her selfish theory again. Lin Feng is about to collapse, because he is a person who is willing to smoke good cigarettes for his friends and smoke ordinary cigarettes when he is alone. Sometimes it is for face, but most of the time it is for sincerity, because no matter how good he takes out yan, friends who know his details will not think he is a rich man. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 22. Seeing that Lin Feng had no desire to communicate with her, Cao Shuiying hesitated for a moment and said, last night you were with a woman again. I heard it all. It was a loud noise. You are fierce enough. Can you handle it? Lin Feng was a little depressed. He felt that even if the beautiful neighbor heard it, he didn't need to talk to him about it. Just drag it. I know you are good at kung fu. Even De He is not your opponent. You can drag it, Cao Shuiying thought, but you are still a small writer, and there are some people who are mixed in the ranks of online writers. Okay, but looking at your current state, you're pretty average. The you are looking for is not very good at fighting, and there are very few people who are particularly good at fighting on the university campus, Lin Feng said with a smile. Can a black belt in Taekwondo be considered a fighter? Among the people I know, not only is there a black belt who knows Kung Fu, but there is also a black belt in Taekwondo. A black belt in Taekwondo can be considered very good. In fact, after practicing Taekwondo, it is still very useful for hitting people. If you actually practice a black belt, you can break a few bones of an ordinary person with one kick. It's just like playing. You seem to understand very well. Can you beat a black belt in Taekwondo? I don't know, Lin Feng said in his heart. If there is no accident, I will have no problem defeating the black belt in Taekwondo. Who is your master? My dad. Look, although your dad is rich, my dad knows Kung Fu. Who is your father's master? My grandfather. Lin Feng was a little annoyed. I found that you are a little bit too. Someone said me too before, but I was very angry. I kicked him twice. Can I kick you too now? If you are not afraid that I will hug your leg and touch you, you can kick, Lin Feng said. Saying she was second, she really became second. Cao Shuiying raised her leg and kicked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng really hugged her leg and stroked her thigh. Rogue, what are you doing? Hurry up and stop touching. Who am I? Just touch me. Cao Shuiying seemed a little angry, but she shouted in a low voice, probably because she was afraid that people outside the partition room would hear it. Lin Feng then let go of Cao Shuiying's legs. He wanted to touch her part through his pants just now. He had the urge to tease Cao Shuiying. Cao Shuiying didn't leave because Lin Feng touched her thigh. She sat down again. Your family doesn't run a martial arts hall, right? In a small county town, there is no money to open a martial arts gym. It's okay to tell you. My family runs a vegetable shop. A big vegetable store, a vegetable market. Trust food shop. That should be very profitable. Just kidding, my vegetable shop is only a few dozen square meters, and it's not in a prosperous area. It only earns 20,000 to 30,000 yuan a year, Lin Feng said. Cao Shuiying thought to herself, you are a small writer, you are indeed very poor. Your father did not save for you. It is normal for you to be poor. You only earn 20,000 to 30,000 yuan a year. 10,000. Then you have to work hard, be careful that you won't be able to marry a wife. You don't have to worry about it. It's very difficult to marry a rich and beautiful woman, but it's still very easy to marry an ordinary girl. You're very good at that. If someone marries you, maybe they won't be able to eat well or wear well, but they'll be very cool when they're naked. Cao Shuiying smiled. Very beautiful and proud. Very selfish and rude. It was very windy. All of these words can be applied to Cao Shuiying. Lin Feng smiled and said, you don't want to do it with me, do you? Bang bang bang. Cao Shuiying's pink fist continuously hit Lin Feng. You little writer, stinky rascal, who wants to do it with you, go. Cao Shuiying walked out, and then she remembered that she forgot to ask a very important question. Who is the woman who did that with Lin Feng? Lin Feng walked to the street and strolled around for almost half an hour before he sat down in the restaurant. He frequents this restaurant a lot. The price of the meals is reasonable and the portions are sufficient. Lin Feng ordered the rice bowl and was about to eat when the phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Lin Feng picked it up suspiciously. Hello, who are you looking for? Lin Feng, you kid, do you hear my voice? Chen Dongliang. It's me. It seems that you have a good memory, at least you still remember me. You are also in Beijing, and I am also in Beijing. Why don't you contact me? Chen Dongliang laughed. I don't have your contact information. How can I contact you? How do you know my mobile phone number? Wang Wei told me. Wang Wei is Lin Feng's pretty female classmate. She is also in Beijing. She is a fan of stocks. She made more than 80,000 yuan in stocks before, but she lost her money by playing warrants. Hearing Wang Wei's name, Lin Feng thought of the time he used to touch Wang Wei's buttocks when he was bored. He thought that the relationship was so solid that he could make some ambiguous adjustments, but he didn't expect Wang Wei to be angry and never let him go again. At home, he was only asked to go to the company to find her. Later, Lin Feng didn't find her much. Lin Feng won't hold a grudge against Wang Wei for this, because it doesn't make sense. It's his business that he wants to touch Wang Wei, and it's normal that Wang Wei doesn't want him to touch him. The key problem is that even if he goes to the company to find him, Wang Wei can only have a meal with him. Then he has to go to work, and then he has to come back. There will be a long delay on the way. Chen Dongliang was going to come over to find him, but Lin Feng really wanted to see him and see what the handsome guy Chen who was a rich woman's lover, was like. Lin Feng didn't go back to the partition room immediately after eating. He walked slowly and soon came to Beijing University of Information Technology, which is the school where the beautiful neighbor Cao Shuiying studied. According to common sense, Cao Shuiying's family is so rich, they are all at the level of billionaires. I am afraid that she will have hundreds of thousands or even millions in her own small vault. If she wants to rent a house, she can rent a better one. There is no need to live in a partition room separated by a large house. Maybe she wanted to save some money when she came out to live, so she found a cheap place to live nearby. Cao Shuiying really thinks so. Although she is rich, she also believes in the saying that what she saves is her own. This is what her father told her before. This is a key university in Huaxia. It has a good reputation and there are not as many beautiful women as normal colleges. However, when Lin Feng is walking on the path, sometimes there are good-looking girls passing by him, some tall, some small, some are plump, some are slender. The summer vacation is almost over, but the weather is still very hot, and most of the girls are very confident in what they wear. In the past, when Lin Feng was talking about girls with a few boys, a very wet question was involved, that is, what does it feel like to do that with a fat girl, and how does it feel to do that with a thin girl? At the end of the discussion, there was no consensus. Some people think that girls with a bit of flesh are actually more cool, and every movement will feel in place, and the warmth of being wrapped in a woman's body is obvious. Some people also think that thin girls are good. When they do the legs that hold their noodles, they will rise up with a little force, and the feeling of being wrapped is also obvious. Lin Feng himself prefers girls with a bit of flesh. If a girl is 165 in height and weighs more than 100 pounds, she can barely pass the test if she is over 90 pounds. If it is only over 80 pounds, it is unlikely to be a famous item. But if a very slender and thin girl is a celebrity, such as a big star, the psychological superiority will be manifested when she is dating, and it will be very refreshing. Ordinary beauty stars will not let themselves be too fat, because they will look a little fatter than usual after being photographed. If they are a little fat, they will appear wider after being photographed. Lin Feng saw a person he didn't want to see again, that was De He. At this time, De He was shooting on the basketball court by himself. There were several girls next to him applauding him, which made De He's things harder and harder. When De He turned around and saw Lin Feng, he was obviously stunned for a moment, then he pretended not to see anything and continued to shoot. Lin Feng could see that De He had already made him afraid of fighting, and he didn't even have the heart to take revenge on him. This also made Lin Feng feel a little more relieved. If De He continued to find someone to fight him, it would be very troublesome. Lin Feng's parents have warned him many times to avoid fights when he goes out. Even if you are good at fighting and ordinary people can't beat you, don't beat people. It is very troublesome to hurt people. Compensation for medical expenses is a trivial matter, and you may even be imprisoned. For Lin Feng, compensation for medical expenses is already a big deal, because he has no money, and his savings is only about 30,000 yuan. He is reluctant to spend the money he has saved. Prison is even more terrifying for him. It means that the novel will be discontinued, and it will be several years. His readers will first scold him and then forget him. He can't stand this, because I want to make a living by writing novels, and I also think the more and more the better. When Lin Feng's father was young, he almost went to prison for beating someone seriously, and later he lost a lot of money to pass the test. If he had been in prison at that time, I'm afraid there would be no parents' marriage, and then he didn't know. Where did you run to? In Lin Feng's eyes, his father is actually a very capable person, but his fortune is not good. He lost money in the clothing business, kept the wood business to save money, did interior decoration, and sold small household appliances. And it was only after opening that vegetable shop that it settled down. Now Lin Feng's house still has more than 10 tape players that have been eliminated. They were all left over when his father sold small appliances. Originally there were more than 20 razors. Individual. Lin Feng's father had a lot of dreams of getting rich, and he really wanted his wife and children to live a rich life, but the scene in the dream did not appear in reality, and now he can only pin his hopes on Lin Feng. Lin Feng is under a lot of pressure. He doesn't want to go back to that small county to hang out. His parents also said that you have already attended a major university. If you come back again, many people will look down on you. Relatives, friends, teachers, and classmates will look down on you. Lin Feng boasted about Haikao at the New Year's Eve dinner table. He wanted to hang out in Beijing and buy a house in Beijing. His parents were happy. Later, his parents passed his words to the ears of relatives and friends. It seemed that his son was in Beijing. Jin is doing well, and relatives and friends are envious. Thinking of this, Lin Feng was more motivated. Chen Dongliang was about to arrive. Lin Feng left the campus of Beijing University of Information Technology and trotted towards the community where he lived. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 23. When Lin Feng walked outside the community, he saw a silver-white BMW sedan. This BMW was the kind that cost more than 2.6 million. Chen Dongliang, who is dressed in high-end casual clothes, looks very handsome and even a bit arrogant, as if he was not wrapped up by a rich woman, but the eldest young master of a rich family. Chen Dongliang leaned on the BMW car, folded his arms around his chest, and gave Lin Feng a very charming smile. Old classmate, it's been a long time, how are you doing? Lin Feng was a little depressed. It looked like this, he didn't even have 1/10 of Chen Dongliang's. He was wearing very ordinary casual clothes. The clothes and shoes cost more than 300 yuan, but Chen Dongliang wore high-end casual clothes. Plus the shoes, it's estimated to be tens of thousands of dollars. Lin Feng doesn't even have a red rope around his neck. In fact, he owns a jade guanyin worth a few $100s, but he doesn't wear it often. He thinks that if guanyin wants to protect him, even if he doesn't wear it around his neck, he can put it in a drawer. Protect him. Chen Dongliang had a very thick gold chain around his neck, which cost at least 20,000 yuan to buy. Actually it's nothing. We are college classmates. Although we are not from the same college, we are quite familiar. You are in front of me. Don't be embarrassed. Let's go and see where you live. Go to the neighborhood. Lin Feng walked by Chen Dongliang's side, and he felt a sense of extravagance. At this time, Chen Dongliang was indeed very rich, handsome, upright, personable, and someone who didn't know the details. It was difficult for him to be beaten with a whip on the bed by a rich woman. Little men connect. When he came to Lin Feng's partition room, Chen Dongliang suddenly screamed, probably meaning that you are too broken and shabby here, Lin Feng, I actually admire you. But how did you get mixed up like this? Lin Feng couldn't hold back his face, and smiled, I don't have your face, and I don't have a rich woman willing to take care of me. I can only rely on my own way to make money. It's normal to get along well without you. Chen Dongliang laughed strangely, as if he had thought of something special, and he quickly said, in college, we both took a bath together in the bathhouse. That's the time you entertained guests. Maybe you forgot, but I still remember it, because that thing of yours was too big and shocked me. I thought at the time, you are too fierce, you have grown such a big thing. What are you trying to say? You took great pains to find my contact information, and then came to find me. Isn't that what you said? Just gossiping, don't be angry. I remember you are not a very angry person, mixed in the contemporary society. Remember to be angry, otherwise people will think that your literacy is wrong. I know a person who performed very well in the company. I'm about to be promoted to business director, but because of a conflict with a colleague, I threw a cup and left a very bad impression on the general manager. Not only did I not become the director, but I was also fired. You see, impulse is the devil. This guy who was taken care of by a rich woman seems to really think of himself as a rich man. He started teaching him as soon as he arrived. Lin Feng was very upset. He half smiled and grabbed Chen Dongliang's arm, facing his stomach. One punch. Lin Feng didn't use much strength, but he still made Chen Dongliang scream and looked at him with a little panic. Dude, don't do it, I know you know Kung Fu, I just talked casually, I didn't mean to teach you a lesson. Sit down, I'll make tea for you. Lin Feng took the cup to make tea, and Chen Dongliang sat on the chair. At this time, he had a sense of superiority. He lived in the rich woman's villa. Although it was only a medium-sized villa, it was very luxurious. She is 10 years old, but she is very beautiful, charming, and has a good figure. She is already a black fungus. Her bed skills are extremely high, and every time she is enthusiastic, she is very ecstatic. The only thing that made Chen Dongliang uncomfortable was that the rich woman liked to bite him and whip him. If she had a whim, she would bring an inflatable doll over and let him fight with the inflatable doll. Then she stood with her arms folded on her chest and watched, in short, all kinds of toying with him. The rich woman said, Chen Dongliang, don't feel bad. In fact, I am a very literate person. In the eyes of the company employees, I am a noble and good boss. In the circle of friends, I am an elegant and good woman. After you, I will play with you, no matter what I do to you, no one will see it. Chen Dongliang was very temperamental, he would rather kneel on the bed and kiss the rich woman's body without offending her. Have some tea. Chen Dongliang took a sip and said with a smile, jasmine tea, and it's a very common kind. I usually drink Longjing and Biluakun, the kind that are several 1,001 kilograms larger. Now my favorite is green tea. Chen Dongliang started telling Lin Feng about the health benefits of green tea again. Lin Feng became depressed again, and deliberately poured tea on Chen Dongliang's face to wake him up, but after thinking about it, forget it. Chen Dongliang is not only not sober but also very angry. It looks like your kid has learned a lot. Sister Yan is an erudite woman. I have indeed learned a lot from her, and the business of Sister Yan's company is getting more and more popular. Before the summer vacation, she went to 2 universities in Beijing to give speeches, and many people admired her. Chen Dongliang said. Although Sister Yan takes care of the little man, it does not mean that she is not a capable person. Since men can play with women when they are rich, then women can play with men when they are rich. Lin Feng treats Sister Yan, a woman he has never seen before. There is not much prejudice, but he vaguely feels something. Did you want to contact my old classmate on a whim, or did Sister Yan ask you to contact me? Chen Dongliang laughed again. Don't always laugh loudly and weirdly. The partition room is not soundproof. Don't let people hear me and think that I have a mental illness here. Chen Dongliang's voice was obviously lowered, and he smiled mysteriously. Lin Feng, your good luck is here, you should thank me well. You'd better make it clear. One time, Sister Yan and I just did that thing. Sister Yan asked me while stroking my thing, who has the biggest thing among all the people you know, and I said, Lin Feng's thing is the biggest. And then Sister Yan immediately sighed, and she asked me excitedly, that kid named Lin Feng, how big is his stuff? It's not bigger than that of an African man. I said, it's about 18 centimeters. And then what? Sister Yan fantasized about it emotionally. Later, she asked me to contact you and ask if you want to be nice to him. He will treat you like me. Hearing this, Lin Feng was immediately disgusted, and he even had the heart to vomit. If there is a chance, Lin Feng would not mind playing with the beautiful boss, but he never thought of letting a female boss take care of him. These two, the situation, the nature is completely different. Go back and tell that Sister Yan, my thing is very big, but I won't be her little man, Lin Feng said. Chen Dongliang still knew a little about Lin Feng, and he felt that Lin Feng would probably refuse, but this was an honorable task given to him by the rich woman. The feeling of being whipped was uncomfortable. Sometimes that rich woman would really beat him hard. He had been beaten and cried before, and his body was covered in blood. It was so painful. Don't be in a hurry to refuse. Do you know what my treatment is? The monthly salary is 20,000 yuan, and the annual expense of 120,000 yuan can be reimbursed. What is the total? 360,000 yuan. You seem to be writing online novels. How much can you earn? Don't underestimate our industry. Those who write online novels earn tens of millions a year. The less I earn now does not mean that I will earn less in the future. Chen Dongliang, you kid, I originally wanted to treat you to a drink. Let's order wine, but you're disgusting to me, so get out of here. Lin Feng, you really don't know what's wrong. Snapped. Lin Feng slapped Chen Dongliang, and Chen Dongliang's nosebleed came out. Damn it, what are you beating me for? Because you are looking for a fight. You're cruel, I'm leaving. Chen Dongliang first went to the bathroom to wash up, and kept patting his forehead with his hands. The nosebleed finally stopped, but the left half of his face and around his nose were swollen. He didn't look as handsome as when he first appeared. 360,000 a year. The mid-level managers of large companies are also treated this way, but Lin Feng is not at all tempted. He has already chosen a development path for himself, and he will go on without hesitation. Even if he has not decided on his career direction, he will never choose to be a lover for a rich woman. If a beautiful boss is willing to do that with him, he may be very excited, but it is impossible to take care of him. Sister Yan's villa is in a group of villas that have been completed less than 5 years ago. Before, Sister Yan lived in a 4-bedroom villa, and then she bought this villa. Sister Yan didn't go to the company, she just sat in the study room of the villa, full of hope, waiting for Chen Dongliang to come back with good news. With such a high treatment, Lin Feng, the big boy, would be tempted. Although I haven't seen what Lin Feng looks like, Sister Yan is already fantasizing about Lin Feng's thing. It seems that she is eating bananas to her heart's content. It seems that Lin Feng's big thing rushed into her body. Sister Yan was reading a book on business management, but her mouth sent out a message that is easy for a woman to send when she is happy. Oh, I'm so comfortable. Chen Dongliang is back. Seeing that his face was swollen, Sister Yan wondered, Dongliang, what's wrong with your face? Let Lin Feng fight. He doesn't agree, and he beat you. Yes, he doesn't want to serve you with me at all. He even despises him a little. When it comes to the end, he slaps me in the face. Things are huge. He has a great temper too. This is Sister Yan's initial impression of Lin Feng. Lin Feng has a temper, but he is not a person who loses his temper indiscriminately. Whether he was in school or after graduation, he didn't like to lose his temper with others, and he didn't like to bully others. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 24. If Chen Dongliang hadn't annoyed him too much, he wouldn't have slapped Chen Dongliang. He also knew that the woman named Sister Yan would soon know that Chen Dongliang was beaten. If Lin Feng is not worried at all, it is impossible. If Sister Yan's wealthy female boss finds someone to take revenge on him, he will be very troublesome. He doesn't want to cause trouble at all. If the interruption is too long, the price increase may be lost, and he may lose his job. Thinking of this, Lin Feng has the heart to call Chen Dongliang to apologize. Looking at the number, his right hand trembled for a long time, but he didn't dial it in the end. I really don't believe it anymore. If you want revenge, come here, I will break your legs. Lin Feng's eyes burst out with a cold light. Hang's eye was furious and blood spattered 5 steps. Lin Feng doesn't get angry easily, but because of his high kung fu, once he gets angry, it's terrifying. Not only did Sister Yan not scold Chen Dongliang, she also smeared the medicine on his face, but Chen Dongliang knew that the fact that Sister Yan was gentle to him at this time did not mean that she would be gentle to him when she got to bed at night. Sister Yan was a completely different person from day to night. A woman who is noble and elegant by day, wild and pungent at night. Sister Yan soon went to the study again, and did not let Chen Dongliang bother her in the past. At this time, Sister Yan was not reading a book on business management, but a book called Raiders of Men, which fully exaggerated the magic of money. It is the kind of magic that Sister Yan likes most. That big thing, he has a lot of personality. Sister Yan is no longer willing to call him Lin Feng, and prefers to call him a big one. It would be great if the big thing and Chen Dongliang could serve me together. When I was with the big thing, Chen Dongliang could cheer on the side, and when I was with Chen Dongliang, the big thing could shake on the side. Oh ah! This will be a very wonderful artistic conception. I really want to get something big. Sister Yan stood up and twisted. With a hot body, she is a master in the dance forest. A little twist will make spring waves rippling. Night. Depressed mood affected Lin Feng's creation. He couldn't write the manuscript, he could only open a movie that looked good to adjust his mood. His door opened, and Sun Yueling walked in again without knocking on the door. She had given the beautiful landlord Shang Yunjuan the key, and she could come at any time. Sister Yueling, you are here. I thought you were coding, but I was afraid it would affect you. No, maybe you didn't sleep well last night, and now you have no inspiration at all. What are you holding in your hand? A suit. I bought a casual suit for you. It's getting cold, and you'll be able to wear it soon. Sister Yueling, I don't want it. Actually, because of our relationship, you don't need to buy clothes for me. I didn't give you money, I just bought you clothes. Sun Yueling rushed into Lin Feng's arms. Please, don't refuse. Lin Feng and Sun Yueling are not in a relationship of support, nor are they boyfriend and girlfriend, but a relationship of mutual satisfaction. Lin Feng felt that if she insisted on not using this casual suit, Sun Yueling would persist for a long time, and if she didn't bother, it would hurt her heart. Is this suit expensive? It's not expensive, more than 2,000. It's not expensive. I've never worn such expensive clothes before. Lin Feng sighed softly. Sister Yueling, I've cost you money. Hurry up and stop being polite, try it, is it suitable? Sun Yueling originally wanted to take Lin Feng to buy clothes, but she knew that Lin Feng would not go with her, so she bought it according to her grasp of Lin Feng's body. A set. Lin Feng tried it on, and it fit very well, and it looked stylish on him. He smiled and said, Sister Yueling, you have a good eye. Sun Yueling said in her heart, I was very attentive when I hugged you, and I was very attentive when I was with you, so I can still grasp your body. Lin Feng and Sun Yueling watched the movie together for almost an hour, and then they were naked and entangled. Lin Feng was exerting force, Sun Yueling was rippling, and the poor quality bed made a creaking sound. The beautiful neighbor Cao Shuiying became excited again. She heard the sound of the bed, the slamming of her body, and the voice of a woman who wanted to shout but didn't dare to shout. Maybe it was because Lin Feng tried too hard, Sun Yueling couldn't help but shouted, oh my god. Cao Shuiying sighed for a while, damn it, Lin Feng, don't you want to kill that woman as a lowercase writer? If you lighten up, you will die, but although women always tell you to be light-hearted, they still like men to work harder. If they are not strong enough, they may not be satisfied. The heated battle between Lin Feng and Sun Yueling was over, and Cao Shuiying also stopped pinching her watch. It was more than 50 minutes. Lin Feng, I admire you a little bit. You are a master in bed. Your ability in this respect surpasses my former two boyfriends, but you are still not my type, because you are too poor. If only with you. Cao Shuiying was a little intoxicated. Sister Yan's villa. Sister Yan became wild, and Chen Dongliang's nightmare came. Sister Yan was rejected by Lin Feng, and felt very distressed. She tied Chen Dongliang's two arms with ropes, and then sat on top of him with great force, slapped him more than 10 times in the ups and downs, and then used it again. Whip and cigarette butts. Chen Dongliang was crying, but Sister Yan was still torturing him. Within a few dozen minutes, Sister Yan was overwhelmed, but Chen Dongliang was already in tears. Sister Yan, you are too ruthless, even if you use the whip, you still scald me with a cigarette butt. Hurry up and stop crying, look at your achievements, I like you only to burn you. The little man walking on the street with a dream of making a fortune has no chance if he wants me to be burnt. Look, you just graduated. Years, but you're better than a lot of people. Chen Dongliang was speechless. Sister Yan finally untied the rope, and Chen Dongliang was free. Just now, he was exhausted and injured. Chen Dongliang's body became a ball. Sister Yan pinched Chen Dongliang's buttocks hard, and Chen Dongliang's body stretched out again. I'm going to talk to Lin Feng in person. Sister Yan, you're crazy. I advise you not to go. That kid Lin Feng has a terrible personality. Maybe he won't let you down. I have already decided, maybe if I go out in person, the effect will be very different, Sister Yan said. Chen Dongliang also hoped that Lin Feng could serve Sister Yan with him, so that Lin Feng could share a bit of the whip and let him suffer less. Lin Feng and Sun Yueling fought twice. In the early morning, Sun Yueling left and Lin Feng continued to sleep. Lin Feng dreamed of his college days, and even dreamed of his first love girlfriend, the beautiful woman who gave him a great illusion and left him ruthlessly. Lin Feng and his ex-girlfriend had a history of youthfulness and ambiguity, but in the end they didn't break through her film. Later, they broke up. Lin Feng regretted it a little bit. He felt that he was too kind to her when he didn't break up. From holding hands to kissing, from kissing to touching breasts, and then, Lin Feng's hand touched the softness and wetness of the girl, and there is no more text. Since it is a relationship, there must be a minimum of respect. Lin Feng used to think so. In fact, he also thinks so now. He will still be a man who does not force women casually. If the beautiful woman is willing to go to his bed, it is the beautiful woman's problem, not his problem. If the beautiful woman is unwilling to go to his bed, he will never do anything against his will. Lin Feng always felt that being a principled person would be rewarded after all. At the same time, he also wanted to be a man of beauty. After all, there is no man who doesn't like beautiful women. The knock on the door woke Lin Feng from his sleep. He quickly dressed and opened the door. It was his beautiful neighbor, Cao Shuiying. I made breakfast, let's eat together. It's yours to save it, so don't invite me to eat it, you can eat it alone. Lin Feng was about to close the door, but Cao Shuiying squeezed in at that moment, her full chest almost hitting Lin Feng's body. You kid, don't give me face. Look at you, you have learned to intimidate me. He asked me to fight. Do you still want the black belt in Taekwondo to come over and clean me up, Lin Feng said. Cao Shuiying burst out laughing, what are you talking about? I won't find someone to fix you in the future, because I've already regarded you as a friend. What friend? Ordinary friend, don't get me wrong, Cao Shuiying said. Lin Feng thought to himself, although you are the daughter of a billionaire, you are not my favorite, so I will not let you be my girlfriend, but if you really want to go to my bed, take off your pants and let me play, then I laugh. You can eat it alone, I don't want to eat it. Did something happen to you? Cao Shuiying asked. I'm short of money, will you lend it to me? It can be considered within 500 Cao Shuiying said. Lin Feng thought to himself, you are really a genius. I don't know how your father taught you. You are the daughter of a billionaire, and you are also a superb miser. Just kidding, I won't borrow money from you. Forget it. After a few words, I'm a little hungry again. I'll go eat breakfast at your place. Lin Feng went to Cao Shuiying's room and had breakfast with her. There was egg and seaweed soup, and scallion pancakes, which were delicious. That woman came again last night. You're really addicted. Even if the room is not soundproofed, you can't always listen to my movements. You don't sleep yourself. You let me hear it. You still blame me. You are too unreasonable. I advise you to move back to the dormitory, it will be good for you, Lin Feng said. I like to rent a house outside, do you want to take care of me? I didn't say anything just now. Lin Feng left her room after eating breakfast with the beautiful neighbor, but the unique aroma still lingers around him. The beautiful neighbor's skin smells very good, and she likes to use some perfume. Lin Feng saw her small table. There is a bottle of perfume on it. Divan, an international famous brand, is thousands of times more advanced than that little broken table, so if a person is really rich, it cannot be concealed. Although Cao Shuiying has 2 boyfriends, it doesn't mean that she is a very casual girl. She is such a beautiful woman. She has lived until now, and she is a junior at the end of the summer vacation. She has only had that kind of relationship with 2 boys. It's been pretty good. Of course, Lin Feng also believes that there are indeed some superlative treasures in this world. They are very charming and graceful, but they have never done that with other men until they get married, but also believe that there are too many women in this world, and they are superlatives. Treasures in it are hard to find. Cao Shuiying hated herself a little bit. Why did she always want to do some wet things with Lin Feng, a very unprofessional boy? Desire is at work, causing the small universe in her delicate body to erupt again and again. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 25. In the morning, Lin Feng usually does not have any inspiration, because he is used to typing in the afternoon and evening, although it is only then that inspiration will come more easily, and even the feel of touching the keyboard will change, and vaguely feel it. Fonts in documents have also become cuter. But this morning was different. After eating breakfast in the partition room of the beautiful neighbor Cao Shuiying, Lin Feng was quite inspired and had the urge to code. After returning to his partition room, he sat down on the chair and started writing. The red-axis mechanical keyboard is more suitable for playing games. If it is writing manuscripts and typing, the green axis is more powerful. Lin Feng can't help complaining in his heart. Cao Shuiying, if you weren't messing around, I could continue to use the green axis mechanical keyboard to type. Will feel more. When Lin Feng wrote almost 2,000 words, Cao Shuiying came in. Lin Feng was a little depressed, because he didn't want to write in front of Cao Shuiying, so as not to be affected by her ridicule. Lin Feng stopped, minimized the document, and then looked at Cao Shuiying's beautiful face. I was with you just now, why did you come over again? Something wrong? I came here to tell you that from now on, you can continue to use the previous mechanical keyboard. Don't you think it's too loud? The voice you make with a woman is much better than a mechanical keyboard, Cao Shuiying thought to herself, but I prefer the voice you made with a woman. After a moment of hesitation, she said, now I treat you as a friend, so write, be lenient and use it. Lin Feng wanted to say thank you to Cao Shuiying, but after thinking about it, she couldn't thank her. If it wasn't for her making a fuss, she wouldn't have to spend about 1,000 to buy a new keyboard. Maybe for rich people, more than 1,000 is just enough for a bottle wine, but it was a lot of expense for him. Lin Feng changed to the original green axis mechanical keyboard, but Cao Shuiying kept sitting on the chair and laughing, without any intention of leaving. Lin Feng sat on a chair, lit a cigarette and started smoking. He didn't have the desire to communicate with Cao Shuiying, so he clicked on the news on the web page and browsed. You write it, I see you write it. When I write something, I don't like others to see it. When I write it and post it online, I like it, Lin Feng said. Do you feel that what you wrote is unsightly? No, I said, what's the matter with you? Don't interfere with my creation, please go out quickly, Lin Feng said. Cao Shuiying stood up, punched Lin Feng on the shoulder, and snorted softly before walking out. Although Cao Shuiying shook her fist at Lin Feng, it was considered an ambiguity. Lin Feng felt that Cao Shuiying had a desire for him. Lin Feng was calm for more than 10 minutes, and then he picked up the thoughts just now and wrote again. He planned to write 5,000 words this morning, so that the afternoon and evening would be much easier. After returning to her own partition room, Cao Shuiying could easily hear the sound of the mechanical keyboard, a bit like playing cotton, but she was not very disgusted. She just said in her heart, Lin Feng, are you writing a novel or playing cotton? I see what you have written, there is no artistic quality to playing cotton yet. It was almost time for lunch. Lin Feng successfully wrote 5,000 words and felt a sense of accomplishment. He stood up and stretched, and said to himself, what should I have for lunch, rice or noodles? His cell phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. He picked it up suspiciously. Hello, who are you looking for? Lin Feng, I'll look for you. I'm Sister Yan, the Sister Yan that Chen Dongliang mentioned to you. Lin Feng suddenly felt a little dizzy. He even felt the world spinning. He didn't expect that Sister Yan found him in person so quickly. People also speak on different university campuses as a role model, but in Lin Feng's heart, Sister Yan is a black fungus who likes to play with little men. Her fungus is very black, and she is cruel to little men. Sister Yan, what are you looking for me for? Listening to your tone, you seem to be afraid of me. In fact, I'm not that scary. When you meet me, you will find that I am a very easygoing person. Lin Feng was silent for a moment and said, Sister Yan, I think we shouldn't meet again. I have already explained what I mean to Chen Dongliang. I'm afraid he will tell you too. I have to see you. Even if you don't come out to see me, I can still see you. I think it's better for you to come out now. I'm just outside the community where you live, otherwise it will be very troublesome. Otherwise, it will be very troublesome. Although Sister Yan said it with a smile, Lin Feng knew very well that she was threatening him. If he didn't cooperate at all, then Sister Yan, a very rich woman, would take extraordinary measures against him. Lin Feng doesn't want to cause trouble at all, because he is very afraid of the novel breaking, and is afraid that readers will have opinions on him, but when something really happens, he will be very brave. He is not a person who is afraid of things. But if he is not afraid of Sister Yan at all, it is impossible, because Sister Yan is from Beijing, she is richer than him, and has a relationship with him. Trick. Lin Feng could only go out to meet Sister Yan. As soon as he walked out of the community, he saw the silver-white BMW. It was the one driven by Chen Dongliang. Maybe besides this BMW, Sister Yan had other cars. After all, she is a very rich woman, and rich people tend to have a favorable impression of luxury cars. Sister Yan walked out. She looks much younger than her actual age, very charming and temperamental, with a black one-piece short skirt and purple stockings, showing a sultry atmosphere in her maturity. If nothing happened before, if Lin Feng just met such a mature, charming, and temperamental woman on the road, maybe he would take a few more glances, and maybe his things would harden. But now, Lin Feng is standing in front of Sister Yan, but his things have not hardened, and the shape of his jeans has not changed in any way. Lin Feng, get in the car. Sister Yan, let's just stand here and talk. Are you still afraid that I will drag you to an unfamiliar place? Don't be afraid, I have no ill will towards you at all. Sister Yan was right, but Lin Feng didn't know what she was going to do at all. People passing by looked in this direction, so Lin Feng could only sit in the BMW. Lin Feng has already thought about it. If he feels that the momentum is not good, he will stun Sister Yan, and stun her when the speed is not very fast. BMW is speeding on the asphalt road, and the speed of 80 miles is very slow from the inside of the car, but from the outside, it is already very fast. Sister Yan drives very stably, and her driving posture is also very good looking, much like a well-educated female boss. Lin Feng, what do you want to eat? You want to invite me to dinner. It's time for dinner. Of course, we're talking while eating. Do you want to eat abalone? In no mood. What about shark fins? I think if you really want to invite me to dinner, you should eat something normal. Although I have never eaten abalone and shark fin, I am not interested in these two things, Lin Feng said. Really very personal. Sister Yan has a more favorable impression of Lin Feng, and said in her heart, you are really good. If you become my little man, maybe I will not beat you with a whip and will still hurt you very much. Call my mother, and I agree. Well, let's find a restaurant, and I'll treat you to home-cooked food. Sister Yan parked the car outside a very high-end restaurant. After getting off the car, Lin Feng and Sister Yan walked in together. The restaurant's business is very good. The lobby on the first floor is already crowded with people, and the waiters are constantly busy. In the past, when Lin Feng was in college, he also worked in a restaurant, but the restaurant was much smaller and the business was average. The male boss in his 50s likes to touch the waitress. I wonder if he has been to one or more of the waitresses. The waitresses who work in restaurants are generally not children of rich families. Even if they are given by the boss or chef, they usually do not make a statement. The less rich people are, the more afraid they will cause trouble. I haven't been fucked. If my belly gets bigger, I will have an abortion and cry. Lin Feng and Sister Yan sat in the private room on the second floor. After ordering the food, the waiter went out. Everything around was quiet, and Sister Yan began to admire Lin Feng's face with a different look. You are a writer of online novels, and you are very talented. Sister Yan, compared to a big boss like you, my income is really nothing. How much can you earn in a year? The current level is 60,000 to 70,000 yuan a year, but it will increase in the future, Lin Feng said in his heart. Among the people who write online novels, some people are richer than you. Don't think you are open. The boss of the company is amazing. Don't think that the enthusiasm of online writers and online readers is vegetarian. Since the popularity of large-screen smartphones, our industry has become more and more popular. Lin Feng would not say this to Sister Yan, so as not to irritate this woman. Although Sister Yan looked noble and elegant, Lin Feng knew that this woman had a ruthless side. It's only 60,000 to 70,000 yuan, so you can't save a lot of money a year. It's almost impossible to take root in Beijing. Slowly work hard, maybe one day you will succeed. If you want to succeed, you have to rely on opportunities. No matter what kind of opportunity, as long as you seize it, you can go further. Don't think that Chen Dongliang is serving me, but he earns a lot more than you, and lives more nourishing than you. Do you know what the word enjoyment means? When Sister Yan said this, the waiter came to deliver the food. She didn't say anything, and Lin Feng didn't rush to answer her words. After a few dishes were served, Sister Yan poured willing wine into the glass, and then they started chatting. Lin Feng, you haven't answered me yet. Enjoy the word, what do you think? I think the word enjoyment is very mysterious, and there must be something strange about it, Lin Feng said with a smile. You had a humor just now, and I have a more favorable impression of you, so you can talk about the strangeness. I think that not only the rich can enjoy, but also the poor, but the content of enjoyment is a little different. You don't think I'm poor, but I'm very happy. I have a career I like, I have friends, and I'm very fulfilled. Lin Feng said. Sister Yan thought, you are still a boy with a good mood. It seems that it is not so easy for me to persuade you. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 26. Do you think I'm a very bad woman? You're not bad at all, and you're an elite woman. If you weren't elite, you wouldn't be a big boss. Am I old? You are much older than me. You can be my mother, but you don't look old. Am I dirty? Your bathroom must be very high-end, you must take a shower every day, so you are very hygienic, Lin Feng said. Sister Yan's face was a little ugly, she seemed to be unable to bear it, but she pinched Lin Feng's ear. Did you mean just now, even if I try my best to talk about hygiene, even if I take a shower several times a day, I will still dirty? Lin Feng took action and opened Sister Yan's hand that was pinching his ear. Sister Yan, you'd better not do anything to me. I rarely hit women, but I can't rule out that I might beat you up. Sister Yan laughed, her full chest trembled. Lin Feng found that Sister Yan's black fungus chest was very elastic. It seemed that while she was enjoying the little man, she also paid great attention to maintenance. Lin Feng, you are really crazy. If you beat me up, do you know what it means? I know, you will find someone to take revenge on me, so that I can't stay in Beijing. Lin Feng said, neither humble nor arrogant, but he was a little scared in his heart. If Sister Yan really did this, he would be very troublesome. Maybe my book will really be broken. Please, Sister Yan, don't deal with me. As long as you know. But there is another situation, Lin Feng sneered. What's the situation? I'll kill you and then run away. I'm from out of town, I have nothing in Beijing. Maybe the police will find me soon, maybe the police won't find me in a few years. I killed you, find someone. Even if I get caught in the end, in my situation, I don't think I can be sentenced to death. I will be sentenced to more than 10 years. If I behave better in prison, I may be released in a few years, but if I kill you, you will never be able to live again. Everything you have now is gone. People are comfortable doing that, but ghosts are not necessarily comfortable doing that, so you have to think twice and cherish everything you already have, Lin Feng said. Sister Yan was stunned. She didn't expect Lin Feng to be so cruel. She even thought about going to jail after killing her. She had seen many people before, but she had never seen such a number one. The barefooted person is not afraid of wearing shoes. It is very suitable for the ruthless person Lin Feng. Sister Yan came here with the drug, but she instantly dispelled the intention of giving Lin Feng the drug. Even if Lin Feng's things are very big, she doesn't necessarily have to let Lin Feng be her little man. There are not too many men with big things in this world, so let's look for them slowly in the future. Lin Feng, it seems that you really misunderstood. In fact, I never meant to force you. If you want, you can even go to work in my company. I will give you a monthly salary of 10,000 yuan and a bonus. I don't care about your monthly salary of 10,000 yuan and bonus. I prefer to write online novels and make up stories for my readers, but what I said to you just now is not making up stories. Lin Feng smiled. Sister Yan, if you don't mind, I'll start eating, I'm hungry. Eat it? Lin Feng ate and drank heavily, but Sister Yan ate very slowly, and occasionally glanced at Lin Feng. Her heart was full of confusion. After eating and drinking, Lin Feng and Sister Yan walked out of the restaurant together. Lin Feng said with a smile, Sister Yan, you are actually a very nice woman. Anyone can have a little hobby, but this does not affect your success. Thank you for inviting me to dinner. I'm leaving. I'll drive you back. No, I want to take a bus to see the scenery, Lin Feng said. Sister Yan smiled at Lin Feng again. then got into the BMW and drove away. Lin Feng watched the BMW disappear into the traffic and finally breathed a sigh of relief. He was sure that Sister Yan would not look for him again. Trouble, no rich woman takes her life to make love. I'm afraid that Chen Dongliang will suffer again. Sister Yan will definitely vent her anger on him. That's what he deserves. At this time, Lin Feng has no sympathy for Chen Dongliang at all. Lin Feng got on the bus and admired the prosperity of Beijing all the way through the bus window. He returned to the community where he lived, and then returned to his partition room. Sitting on the chair, Lin Feng lit a cigarette and laughed incredulously. Although he came back here again, he had a confrontation with a rich woman just now, and that rich woman scared him. When Lin Feng was frightening Sister Yan, he was also very scared, because he didn't want to kill at all, let alone a few years in prison. He didn't want to sit in prison for a day, he wanted to live in peace. He didn't need to be rich, but must be at peace. If Sister Yan doesn't eat his way in the restaurant and wants to leave, he is unlikely to rush over and grab Sister Yan's neck. If Sister Yan finds someone to rectify him after leaving the restaurant, he can only fight with those people. Maybe he will hurt a few or a dozen of them, maybe he will maim or kill some of them. After Lin Feng lay on the bed, he continued to be afraid. He soon had a nightmare. He dreamed that a group of people were chasing him. Those people had machetes, iron rods, and guns in their hands. He was running wildly in the hail of bullets. During the rush, his things got bigger and bigger, almost affecting his running. When he looked back, the group of people had rushed over and surrounded him. Like a golden snake, it danced wildly and swept everyone down. He won. His things are huge, and he is not afraid of anyone. He folded his arms around his chest, looked at the people on the ground who were screaming in pain, and said proudly, "I'm not afraid of anything, because my things are huge." In the afternoon, I couldn't code words. Lin Feng ate dinner a little early. After eating, he came back to code words. The green axis mechanical keyboard made a crisp sound. He was making small money constantly, maybe he could make big money in the future. When Lin Feng wrote another 5,000 words, and he has written 10,000 words today, he still has the urge to continue writing. Why not write 12,000 words today, 25 words in 1,000 words, then 12,000 words are $300. Someone knocked on the door, and Lin Feng became depressed. He thought, who the is bothering me at this time? When he opened the door, he saw that it was his beautiful neighbor, Cao Shuiying. Cao Shuiying, who was dressed in a pale pink night dress, was charming and charming. Her graceful and plump body exuded an intoxicating aroma. She smiled brightly and said, "Little writer, you are typing on the keyboard again. It was you who asked me to change to the blue axis mechanical keyboard. You said that you are not afraid of noise. I didn't say you disturbed me. Could it be that I couldn't come to your room if you didn't disturb me? Of course you can come. You also invited me to eat the dishes you made yourself. Hurry up and sit down," Lin Feng said. Cao Shuiying sat on the chair, her round buttocks became larger, and her slender legs were more curvy. Lin Feng also sat down, and couldn't help but glance at Cao Shuiying's body wrapped in a pale pink night dress. "Do you want to see me write again?" I said, "If you look at me, I can't write it." "I don't want to see your writing, but I want to watch a movie." "You can watch it with me," Cao Shuiying said. Lin Feng has already written more than 10,000 words. Even if he stops to watch a movie with his beautiful neighbor now, he will not feel like he is wasting time. The few new movies that have been released recently are not very good. Why don't you watch the funny movies from the past, and watch the old movies from Xenia, can you? No. Then what do you want to see? I think you have a lot of those kinds of movies on your computer, Cao Shuiying said. Lin Feng was a little dizzy. He didn't expect the beautiful neighbor to come over to watch that kind of film with him. Since he started a satisfying relationship with his graduate sister Sun Yueling, Lin Feng did download a lot of those kinds of films. He used to be with Sun Yueling. Scene. I have that kind of movie on my computer, but it's easy to make mistakes when we watch it together in the middle of the night. I'm not afraid. What are you afraid of? 2. The beautiful neighbors who are very rich in the family are not afraid. He doesn't seem to have anything to be afraid of. He just looks at it. Lin Feng and Cao Shuiying began to watch a very wild little film. When the man and the woman started to touch, Cao Shuiying threw herself into it. When the man's hand reached into the woman's panties, Cao Shuiying was already in Lin Feng's arms. Lin Feng kneaded against Cao Shuiying's fragrant shoulder. I understand, you are lonely. I kind of want to do it. I haven't done that since I broke up with my second boyfriend, and I'm not trying to flaunt myself. I'm not a casual woman. If you don't have a relationship, you won't be casual. Doing that with a man, Xena who doesn't fall in love is a hooligan. Then if we did it, it would be a hooligan. Everyone is a hooligan. I really want to play a hooligan with you right now. Cao Shuiying smiled charmingly. Actually, not everyone has a time to be a hooligan, and some people never played a hooligan until they died. So does this kind of person live long? Not necessarily. Some people who were gentlemen before and after may die before they live to 30, Lin Feng said. Let's do it. After doing this, what is the relationship between us? Neighbor relations. That's fine, you can do it, Lin Feng said. Cao Shuiying's hand twisted hard against his thigh. It hurt so much that Lin Feng almost jumped up. Damn, why are you me? What did you mean just now? Are you afraid that if I do it with you, I will depend on you? You are not my food, and I will not fall in love with you, Cao Shuiying said. That's good, Lin Feng thought. Don't look at you as rich and beautiful. In fact, you are not my favorite, but since you are so active, I still have no problem with you. Lin Feng and Cao Shuiying kissed passionately. Only then did Lin Feng realize that the beautiful neighbor's red lips were sweet and smooth. Lin Feng's hand reached into the pale pink night dress of the beautiful neighbor, touched her smooth thighs, and quickly landed on her trousers, feeling the unique warmth. Lin Feng's hand quickly reached into his trousers and moved it up. It was soft and moist, and it was extremely wonderful. Are your hands clean? Just touch me there. You just typed the keyboard, so there are no germs. When Cao Shuiying said this, Lin Feng was even more excited. Cao Shuiying's delicate body twisted, and she said softly. It seemed that she didn't want to make too much noise, and she didn't want the neighbors outside to hear it. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 27. Lin Feng turned off the computer, rolled onto the bed with Cao Shuiying, kissed her, took off her pale pink night dress and threw it on the chair, and quickly tore off her panties. Lin Feng rushed into her body with a little force. It was only when she swayed that she felt the beauty of the beautiful neighbor. Maybe it was because she was too beautiful. Looking at her face, she felt very hard against her body. Lin Feng also thought at this time that if the person under him was a beautiful star, that's more of a feeling. Cao Shuiying was very comfortable. She wanted to shout, but she was afraid that the neighbors outside would hear it. After changing several postures, Lin Feng and the beautiful neighbor tossed for almost an hour before they calmed down. Lin Feng worked very hard just now, and after finishing her work, she was still breathing heavily, and Cao Shuiying was even more breathless. Little writer, you are so fierce. Those rich women like you. If you don't drink medicine, you are more fierce than if you drink medicine. Lin Feng thought to himself, a rich woman really found me, but I ate her and didn't let her cover me. Lin Feng would not tell Cao Shuiying that Sister Yan wanted to cover him, nor did she want to flaunt herself through this matter. He was very comfortable just now, and he also made Cao Shuiying comfortable. Cao Shuiying didn't mean to put on her clothes and leave. It seemed that she was going to spend the night in his room. Of course, Lin Feng would not drive Cao Shuiying away. He had just done it once, and he was a little bit of persuading the errant girl to follow her conscience, but he knew that no, after half an hour, he will be impulsive again, and he may very much want to get the girl who slipped. What's more, Cao Shuiying is not a stray girl, she will soon be a junior. Her body is very mature, she understands everything, she is willing to let her go, and she will not be admitted if she is not white. In less than an hour, Lin Feng and Cao Shuiying were rolling again enthusiastically. First, Lin Feng was on top. After Cao Shuiying got two pleasures, one rolled onto Lin Feng's body, heaving and twisting frantically. Cao Shuiying's bed skills are very high, it seems that she used to do a lot with her two boyfriends. When Lin Feng and Cao Shuiying were turning the clouds over the rain, Sister Yan was also turning the clouds over the rain with Chen Dongliang. Sister Yan felt unhappy, and she slapped Chen Dongliang hard. Sister Yan had an orgasm, but Chen Dongliang was in great pain. His body was covered with scars. It was almost 4 o'clock in the morning, and Lin Feng felt a little sleepy, but Cao Shuiying, who had enjoyed many pleasures, seemed to be slapped with blood. She touched Lin Feng's body excitedly and chatted. Cao Shuiying mentioned her two former boyfriends. The first thing she talked about was her boyfriend in high school. The first time she did that thing with a man was at that boyfriend's house. Originally, she asked her to do mock problems together and then rate each other. But as soon as I did half of the simulation questions, I started simulating that kind of thing. My boyfriend said, "Don't take it off. I did that action to you, and it made me enjoy it." She said, "I don't take it off, you do it for nothing, it won't be fun at all." The boyfriend said, "Take it off." She said, "Don't take off." So her boyfriend put his arms around her and pushed up against her indiscriminately. The boyfriend's were wet, and so were hers. Her boyfriend started kissing her body. She couldn't take it anymore and let him do it. Later, she took off her trousers and started doing it. The first time, Cao Shuiying was very painful, but she still liked this kind of thing, and then she did it in the car with her boyfriend, in the woods, and once in the classroom. Speaking of which, Cao Shuiying emphasized that her first boyfriend's thing was only 2/3 the size of Lin Feng's, and the staying power was not particularly good. Later, we talked about her second boyfriend in college. He was a native of Beijing. He was not particularly rich but not short of money. His parents were both civil servants. Cao Shuiying actually wanted to develop with him, because her parents said, "This boyfriend is also your dish. If the two of you become one, your future child will have a Beijing hukou and also have a house." When Cao Shuiying and her boyfriend were doing it, she was too tight. She didn't repair the first time girl's membrane, but when she did it for the first time, she still screamed a few times of pain, and after finishing it, she even looked at the bed. Boyfriend asked, "What are you looking at?" She was embarrassed to say that she was looking for blood, but said that she didn't see anything. The boyfriend said, "You will definitely not find it, because I know you are not a first-time daughter." She was very embarrassed and argued that if I was a first daughter, I had only done it less than 10 times before. Her boyfriend was a little perverted and asked her how she did it, but she didn't say anything. Later, she and this guy did it in the woods on campus, in the dormitory, and in the mountains on the outskirts. Leng deng, they are doing it. Leng deng, they broke up. She proposed the breakup, because she felt it was inappropriate. That guy was becoming less and less his type, and he was not motivated at all. He borrowed her money and still didn't pay it back. The 3,000 yuan loan was the direct cause of their breakup. Reason: Cao Shuiying talked a lot, and finally said that her second boyfriend's things are not small, but compared with Lin Feng, there is a little gap. Lin Feng has a great sense of superiority. His sense of superiority is not brought by banknotes or social status, but by that thing. Did your second boyfriend pay you back 3,000 yuan later? No, I hate him to death. So much money, yet he didn't pay back a cent. Actually, 3,000 yuan is not much for you. Maybe not much, but 3,000 yuan can buy a lot of things. If you use it to buy toothpaste, it will be enough to brush your teeth for a lifetime, Cao Shuiying said. Lin Feng was a little depressed. It seemed that Cao Shuiying, a girl from a wealthy family, was really stingy. He also began to calculate whether 3,000 yuan for toothpaste could last a lifetime, as if it were not enough. Before getting up, Lin Feng and Cao Shuiying did it again. This time, Cao Shuiying stood on the ground and bent her body to support the bed with both hands. Lin Feng stood behind her and came again. Cao Shuiying was very worried that Lin Feng would take the opportunity to explode her chrysanthemum. She reminded Lin Feng once. Lin Feng thought, if you don't remind me, I still can't remember. If you remind me like this, I really want to explode your chrysanthemum. But Lin Feng didn't explode Cao Shuiying's chrysanthemum, he just tried frantically on her part. Leaving Lin Feng's partition room, Cao Shuiying had a better impression of Lin Feng. She never thought of falling in love with Lin Feng, but she would definitely be an ordinary friend with Lin Feng, an ordinary friend who could be stupefied once in a while. The beautiful neighbor gave Lin Feng a surprise. When he first saw Cao Shuiying, Lin Feng felt that she was beautiful and mean. Not black fungus, moist and soft. Women who are black fungus are also moist and soft. For example, the rich woman's sister Yan may also be a moist and soft woman, but Lin Feng just doesn't want her to do it. Even if she can't afford a house in Beijing for the rest of her life, she won't let her do it. Lin Feng slept until the afternoon. After getting up, he grabbed his mobile phone and saw that there were 3 missed calls, all of which were from his female classmate Wang Wei, who was also in Beijing. Lin Feng hurried back to her, and they picked it up quickly. Lin Feng, you kid, I thought you were dead, why didn't you answer my call? If I really die, then my mobile phone must be turned off. Since it is on, it means that the person is still alive. I just slept and didn't hear it. You can sleep too well. From the morning until now, 3 phone calls have not woken you up. Hurry up and be honest, did you do something bad last night? Let me tell you, I did it 3 times with a girl last night. Lin Feng was telling the truth, but Wang Wei didn't believe it at all, and said disdainfully, you dreamed of having with a girl 3 times, I see you, thinking about a woman is going crazy. Oh, stop talking about this, do you have time? Come to the company to find me. You don't have to go to work in the afternoon. I'm in a bad mood, I'm on leave. Oh, come on, I'll tell you when you come, Wang Wei said anxiously. Looking at this situation, Wang Wei seems to have encountered an accident. Maybe there are wicked people pestering her, or maybe she has lost money again. Let's go and see. Wang Wei asked Lin Feng to take a taxi to look for it, and said that he would reimburse the fare. Even if Lin Feng really took a taxi, he would be embarrassed to ask Wang Wei to reimburse him for less than 40 yuan, but he did not want to pay for a taxi. In the end, I took the bus. Wang Wei likes to play a little bit of romance, so she chose to wait for him in a coffee shop near the company. Lin Feng doesn't like drinking coffee, and he seldom went to a coffee shop before, so he was a little uncomfortable when he suddenly walked in. Wang Wei in a round neck shirt and denim skirt waved to him, and Lin Feng walked over to her, sat opposite her, looked at her beautiful round face, and said with a smile, have you ever cried? Yeah, I cried, I'm unlucky, do you know how much I lost recently? Lin Feng was a little panicked. He and Wang Wei were good friends. He didn't want Wang Wei to lose money at all. Wang Wei's money was earned by going to work every day. How much did you lose? 20,000. Damn it, are you crazy and lost so much money? Lin Feng shouted so loudly that several people at the table looked at him, and some people started talking in a low voice. Lin Feng didn't think there was anything. I was excited, I could yell, and if you don't like it, you can get out. But Wang Wei couldn't hold on to her face a little, so she grabbed Lin Feng and walked out. As soon as she stepped out of the cafe, tears flowed down her cheeks and she was about to cry. Don't cry on the street. People will think I've done something to you when they see it. It's better to find a quiet place. Go to my house. Don't you want me to go to your house? I'm afraid that someone like me who is often in the company of loneliness will be impulsive. Lin Feng, don't keep talking to me, kid. I'm not in the mood to joke with you. If you don't even have the heart to comfort me, you won't be enough friends, Wang Wei said. I didn't say anything. Why are you in a hurry? Lin Feng quickly thought again that Wang Wei had lost 200,000 yuan, so it was impossible not to be in a hurry. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 28. Wang Wei lives in a single dormitory arranged by the company. The company rents a whole building, but the employees also have to share part of the money, but it is very cheap. The house is almost 50 square meters with one bedroom and one living room, and only 300 yuan a month. It is a benefit of the company to its employees. I took a taxi to Wang Wei's house. All of her colleagues live in this building. Not only did she ask for leave, but others also asked for leave. For example, her boyfriend's female colleague from out of town, when her boyfriend came, had to ask for leave. There was nothing to deduct money, and the pleasure was necessary. If you don't stand still for a long time, both men and women will go crazy. Wang Wei was in love before, but they broke up soon. She claimed that she didn't have that with her boyfriend, and Wang Wei was not a random person. Maybe she was a first daughter. Lin Feng was very familiar with Wang Wei, but she couldn't believe it. Wang Wei, who looks good and has a hot body and a hot butt, will be a first daughter. Sitting on the somewhat outdated sofa in the living room, Lin Feng was a little in the mood to appreciate Wang Wei's figure. Her chest was still so full, her legs were still so slender, and her body always exuded an incomparably hot aura. Lin Feng, I'm done, Wang Wei cried. 200,000 yuan, according to your current salary, it happens to be your salary for 2 years. Are you playing warrants again? Yeah, it's just playing that. I'm dying of heartache. Among them are my savings of 120,000 yuan, and 80,000 yuan from someone who borrowed it, with 30% interest. Hearing this, Lin Feng wanted to cry. He borrowed usury to play stocks, and then lost everything. Wang Wei can be said to be a top talent. Lin Feng didn't know what to do anymore, so he reached out to touch the cigarette, only to realize that he forgot to bring it. Do you have any cigarettes at home? I don't smoke. Where did the cigarettes come from? Forget it, I'll go out and buy them for you. Wang Wei got up and was about to go out. I'll buy it myself. Lin Feng quickly ran out. If it was normal, Lin Feng would definitely ask Wang Wei to buy him cigarettes, at least the kind that cost more than 20 yuan, but now, Wang Wei is mixed up like this, owed 80,000 yuan, or usury, can give her save a little, save a little. Lin Feng bought a pack of Hungta Mountain and came back, sat beside Wang Wei and started pumping. Who did you borrow 80,000 yuan from? He's Inkui, the head of the operation department. Aren't you in the operation department? I think that guy named He Zinkui has ulterior motives for lending you so much money. Lin Feng didn't know who He Zinkui was, but it was easy to guess that a department director who lent so much money to a beautiful female subordinate just wanted to earn interest. I'm afraid she wants to eat tofu, and she eats her big tofu fiercely. The woman's biggest tofu is wrapped in small pants. Director, he is married and has a daughter who is 5 years old this year, but he... What does he mean to you? Yeah, he revealed before that he wanted me to be his lover, and said that it was too vulgar to talk about money between colleagues. Seeing what he meant was that he wanted to maintain that kind of relationship with me for free, he also said, "Wait for me. Once you have a boyfriend, break up with him. Aren't you tempted?" Lin Feng, what are you talking about, kid? Am I that kind of person? I despised him in my heart and told him, "Lao He, don't dream." This time I paid 120,000 yuan first, and it was already there. The six-figure deposit was empty all of a sudden. I couldn't believe it was true. I asked the bank account several times, "It's not true, where's my money?" It turned out later, my money it's gone, I've lost it all. I don't think my luck will be so bad, so I want to turn it over. I just wanted to borrow money from you, but I don't think you have much money. Even if you have money, you won't. I lent me this to play, so I didn't look for you. I really had no choice but to look for his Zinkui. The situation is serious. A layer of sweat appeared on Lin Feng's forehead. Wang Wei was very sorry to see him in such a hurry. "Wait a minute, I'll go buy a watermelon." "I'm going to buy it, you're frightened, rest." Lin Feng ran out, and soon came back with a big watermelon, cut it, put it on a plate and brought it over. He didn't eat the watermelon immediately, but lit another cigarette and started smoking. It's useless to say anything now, since it's like this. Think about it, look at those big bosses, they still lose tens of millions of dollars in business, and some of them are lost to absconding, and lost to jumping into the river. But I really can't stand it. Wang Wei jumped into Lin Feng's arms and started crying. In the past, if Lin Feng wanted to hug Wang Wei, it was not easy. For his slightly ambiguous actions, he would be attacked by Wang Wei with sharp words. At this time, holding Wang Wei's soft and hot body, feeling the outline of her towering breasts, Lin Feng felt very uncomfortable. Wang Wei's tears wet Lin Feng's clothes, and Lin Feng could only keep slapping her back. "Xiao Yi, don't cry for now, let's discuss it and see how we can repay his Inkui's money first." Wang Wei stopped crying. "It's 80,000 yuan. My parents are farmers. Although I have grown medicinal herbs for the past 2 years, I don't have 20,000 yuan a year. My brother got married and found a fairy, and he still owes a debt. Our classmates, it's only been 2 years since graduation, and there are not many rich people. Besides, those rich people don't have much friendship with me. The only one I can count on is you, oh, and the one you don't want to face." People. Who else does Lin Feng want to face the most? It must be his ex-girlfriend Shen Bingqian. "Xiao Yi, although Shen Bingqian kicked me, I don't actually have that deep prejudice against her now. It's right that she wants to fly when she wants to fly high. Who makes me not rich and handsome? You might as well ask her, see, does she want to help you? After all, you two lived in the same dorm for 4 years. In college, Wang Wei and Lin Feng's ex-girlfriend Shen Bingqian were good sisters in a dormitory. Ironically, but since Shen Bingqian kicked Lin Feng to get along with the rich boy, Wang Wei had an opinion on Shen Bingqian, and the relationship after that was not as good as before. Shen Bingqian even suspected that Lin Feng and Wang Wei had done that, so Wang Wei was so him. When she proposed to break up, Shen Bingqian asked Lin Feng, "Have you ever had a relationship with Wang Wei?" Lin Feng's answer was, "I really want to do it with Wang Wei, but she doesn't want to do it with me." Shen Bingqian was very rude at the time, and said coldly, "Look at your virtue, no woman is willing to do it with you, you can do it alone." But now, Lin Feng is obviously not fighting alone. He has fought Bai Shan, Lu Xiona, Sun Yueling, and Cao Shuiying. Leng Deng was very fierce. All the women who fought him praised him. What I'm afraid of is that even if I call Bingqian, she will refuse. She is a bit stingy and may not lend me money. Even if she offers a favor and lend me a few thousand yuan, what's the use? Yes, then don't ask her, Think of another way. To tell you the truth, I have more than 30,000 yuan in savings, but if I lend you all, I will have no savings. I can't bear to borrow your money. You type it word by word. Actually, I don't want to lend it to you, but what can I do? Who made us good friends? I'll give you the 30,000 yuan first, but... But what, Lin Feng, you kid, don't you want to take the opportunity to let me be with you? You think wrongly, even if I miss that it will be when you are all smooth sailing. You are in trouble now, and I can't do things while others are in danger. I mean, you give me an IOU, prove that you lent me 30,000 yuan, Lin Feng said. Wang Wei's pink fist hit Lin Feng's arm. You kid, doubt my character. No, I believe in you very much, but I'm really afraid that my money will be gone. I finally saved more than 30,000 yuan. I'm a little afraid. Okay, I'll give you an IOU. Wang Wei wrote an IOU to Lin Feng, and Lin Feng's online banking transferred 30,000 yuan to Wang Wei. His deposit was only less than 2,000 yuan. Lin Feng's heart was very empty, because his money was gone, and he wanted to open his account when he wanted to motivate himself. All I saw was the balance of less than 2,000 yuan. It's still 50,000 yuan short. Lin Feng and Wang Wei became silent again. At this time, both of them ruled out the possibility of calling Shen Bingqian. Although Shen Bingqian now has a monthly salary of almost 10,000, there is also a very rich boyfriend. Xiao Yi, think about it carefully. Is there anyone around you who can borrow money? Lin Feng said. I think it's still possible to find a few more colleagues and make up 20,000 yuan. Then start with the budget. If you can really borrow 20,000 yuan from your colleagues, it will be 30,000 yuan short. Hearing this, Wang Wei began to cry again, and quickly jumped into Lin Feng's arms again. This time, the towering chest hit Lin Feng's body very violently, and Lin Feng clearly felt the softness. Lin Feng's cell phone rang. Wang Wei was not in Lin Feng's arms for the time being. Seeing that it was Sun Yueling, Lin Feng's heart lit up. Sun Yueling should have a deposit of tens of thousands of yuan. But asking Sun Yueling to borrow money was a bit difficult. Lin Feng was very afraid of giving Sun Yueling a bad impression of cheating money. Sister Yueling, are you looking for me? I came to you. Why aren't you here? Where did your kid go? It's at my female classmate's place. Oh, it's all right, then I'll hang up. Sun Yueling was very afraid of affecting the communication between Lin Feng and her female classmates, because she wasn't sure what their relationship was. Sister Yueling, don't hang up yet. Oh, is there anything else? I think. What do you think? I want to borrow some money. After Lin Feng said this, he was already sweating profusely. He found that he was too shameless. Sun Yueling was slightly surprised. She felt that even if a person with Lin Feng's style was not rich, it would be unlikely to ask her to borrow money, unless it was difficult, but there was still a possibility that all her feelings about Lin Feng were delusions. In fact, Lin Feng is a very bad person, trying to cheat her of money. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 29. How much do you want to borrow? Sun Yueling said. 30,000 yuan, Lin Feng said. So much? What do you want so much money for? Sun Yueling was immediately excited. Lin Feng felt the difficulty, and I'm afraid it would be ruined. If he couldn't borrow money from Sun Yueling, he couldn't borrow money from the beautiful landlord and the very rich and beautiful neighbor. As for Bai Shan, Lin Feng didn't even think about it. Shan managed to get some money for a man's lover, but he couldn't give up his face to borrow it. Lin Feng looked at Wang Wei nodded, and didn't mind him telling Sun Yueling the truth. Wang Wei was a girl with a good face, but at this point, the problem of face can only be put aside for the time being. Lin Feng told all about his female classmate Wang Wei, and Sun Yueling was stunned. If what Lin Feng said was true, then Wang Wei was too crazy. You can play, and losing a part of it will not affect your normal life, but Wang Wei even continued to borrow usury to play warrants after losing all her deposits. There are indeed many crazy people in this world. There are people who have borrowed millions of loan sharks to gamble for money. In the eyes of those crazy people, Wang Wei's gameplay is probably pediatrics, but Sun Yueling's social circle is limited, and he has never encountered such a thing before. Kind of people. So far, Lin Feng's social circle is relatively limited. He has never encountered such a situation before, but he has heard of people who lose money in gambling and sell houses and land. There are many people who share happiness, but very few people who share tragedy. Where does your female classmate live? I want to go and see. It's quite far, Lin Feng said. That's okay. If it's true, don't be afraid to watch it. I think it's over now. All right. Lin Feng could only agree to let Sun Yueling come over, and told her the address, believing that she would take a taxi. If Sun Yueling is not allowed to come and see, then borrowing money will definitely be useless. When Sun Yueling sees him in the future, he will still doubt him, and may despise him with strange eyes, leaving his conscience nowhere to rest. Wang Wei was full of hope and wondered, what is the relationship between you and Sun Yueling? Friendship. At first she was just my reader, and then we met for a few meals. Is there nothing else? Gone. Lin Feng didn't want Wang Wei to know the true relationship between him and Sun Yueling, let alone let Wang Wei know that Sun Yueling wanted to be dissatisfied. On the basis of this relationship, will Sun Yueling lend you 50,000 yuan? I think, unless she is very rich, not 50,000 yuan is one thing. She is just a teacher at Beijing Normal University, and her monthly salary is not astounding, not much money. I'm afraid she won't lend you money even if she comes over to see it. Maybe she's just showing you off that she cares about your affairs, and then just say a few words to put it off, Wang Wei said. Sun Yueling is a very down-to-earth woman. If she didn't want to lend me money at all, she wouldn't come to see her, Lin Feng said. Wang Wei felt that the relationship between Lin Feng and Sun Yueling should not be that simple, otherwise Lin Feng would not have said what he just said. Maybe Lin Feng and Sun Yueling, a university teacher, did that. Perhaps Sun Yueling was lonely and seduced Lin Feng to do that. Perhaps Lin Feng was impulsive and forced Sun Yueling onto the bed to do that thing. If she is lying on the bed with nothing to do, maybe Wang Wei is very interested in thinking about it seriously, but now she is so overwhelmed that she does not want to seriously consider the relationship between Lin Feng and Sun Yueling. Can't get money. Sun Yueling has arrived. Wang Wei was surprised. She thought that Sun Yueling would be a slender beauty, and she was wearing very hot clothes, walking gracefully, even a little awkward, but what she didn't expect was that Sun Yueling was just an ordinary-looking woman. No man on the street would deliberately give her a few glances. She has an ordinary appearance, an ordinary figure, and an ordinary clothes. She is an unpretentious but very friendly woman. It gives the impression that such a woman will never do bad things in her life. When someone hit her, she would say, "Forget it." When someone else stole her, she would say, "Forget it." If others have her or not, she will say, "Forget it." Sister Yueling, she is my college female classmate Wang Wei, and she has a strong relationship. Lin Feng smiled. Hello, Wang Wei, Sun Yueling said to herself, you are a beautiful woman with a pretty face and a hot body. You and Lin Feng should be more than just ordinary friends. Hello, Sister Yueling. Since Lin Feng called her sister, Wang Wei also called her sister. After shaking hands and chatting for a few more words, they went to Wang Wei's single dormitory together. Lin Feng and Sun Yueling sat on the sofa. Wang Wei went to make tea. Sun Yueling took the opportunity to twist Lin Feng's arm. Lin Feng was not in great pain, but still grinned, which gave Sun Yueling a sense of accomplishment. Sun Yueling pursed her lips and smiled. When Wang Wei brought the tea, her laughter stopped immediately, and she regained her calm, and there was a bit of melancholy in her calm. Wang Wei told her the process of losing money and borrowing loan sharks again. Sun Yueling understood more about what was going on. At the same time, Sun Yueling did not doubt that Wang Wei was a liar. Actually, I don't have much savings. I've only been a teacher for 2 or 3 years after graduating from graduate school. I'm still not a lecturer or even an associate professor, and my salary is limited. But since Lin Feng is my friend and you are Lin Feng's friend, you have encountered difficulties. I should also help. Why don't I lend you the money directly? In addition to the 30,000 yuan that Lin Feng lent you, you still lack 50,000 yuan. The 50,000 yuan is all from me. The 1,000 yuan is returned to me, and it must be repaid within 10 months, Sun Yueling said. Wang Wei was very excited, her breathing was a little uneven, and she looked at Sun Yueling's normal face gratefully. Sister Yueling, you are such a good person. Lin Feng was also very excited. He didn't expect that Sun Yueling would perform so well after coming here. She is such a good woman. Lin Feng even felt a little guilty. He thought, Sister Yueling, you like me so much. It's a pity that I can't marry you. I am even more so. I don't want to delay you, but I got on you after all. Maybe it wasn't because he had with Sun Yueling that made Sun Yueling very comfortable, then her performance would not have been so powerful. If it was just a very ordinary relationship, maybe Sun Yueling would have refused with a single word. She would not sit here and then make a statement. Very powerful decision. Sister Yueling, I will definitely repay your money within 10 months. I wish you a happy woman forever. Wang Wei was so excited that she didn't know what to say, and she didn't know what she just said. Aren't the words very mushy? Sun Yueling said in her heart, for a long time, happiness has only been a legend for me, but since I met Lin Feng, I am happier than before. Although there will be no result between me and Lin Feng, I am still happier than before. Neither side had any objections. Wang Wei began to write to Sun Yueling. She wanted to pay Sun Yueling a certain amount of interest, at least to make up for the interest lost by the bank, but Sun Yueling said no. After the writing was done, Sun Yueling glanced at the time, got up and said with a smile, then I'll go first, and I will call you for 50,000 yuan tomorrow morning. Lin Feng and Wang Wei took Sun Yueling to the side of the road and watched her take a taxi away before returning to the singles dormitory. Wang Wei jumped into Lin Feng's arms and scratched his back wildly. Lin Feng didn't know what to do. When Lin Feng was in desperate need of comfort after falling out of love, Wang Wei just persuaded him as a friend to have a little heart in the future. When you fall in love again, you can see who the other party is, and there is no enthusiasm at all. When Lin Feng faced Wang Wei, that thing stood up many times, but he didn't get anything, but once, Wang Wei's knee nearly hit his thing. But at this time, Wang Wei was hugging him warmly, scratching his back wildly. Lin Feng pressed lightly on Wang Wei's chest and said with a smile, come on, stop being excited, let me go, you treat me like this, it's very exciting. Wang Wei let go of Lin Feng, and when she sat down on the sofa, she burst into tears. Although there is a way to repay the loan shark, I still feel very distressed. I have lost so much money. Anyway, it's already like this. It's useless to feel distressed. I don't think you will always play with warrants in the future, right? I'm cruel this time, and I won't play warrants again. It's all a game for rich people, and a poor person like me can't play it. Wang Wei sighed softly. I really didn't expect that I would encounter such a big game. In the end, it was you who helped me get through the difficulties. To tell you the truth, although we have a strong relationship, I have never been optimistic about you before, and I have always felt that you are a very ordinary boy, not a potential stock. Lin Feng was a little depressed, pressed Wang Wei's head, messed up her long hair, and said with a smile, "I didn't expect me to be so bad in your heart, I'm not even a potential stock. Then I'll tell you now, although I am poor now, I will be rich in the future, and I am definitely a potential stock." "Maybe you really are a potential stock, after all, you finally surprised me once," Wang Wei said. From the university days to yesterday, Lin Feng has never surprised Wang Wei. In Wang Wei's eyes, he is a very ordinary person, even a very sad person. But today, Lin Feng surprised Wang Wei, and Wang Wei began to re-examine Lin Feng. "You and that Sun Yueling. Don't ask, I've already told you. She used to be my reader, and now she's my good friend. Have you ever been ambiguous with her at all?" "I haven't," Lin Feng said in his heart, "I've heard several times, but can I tell you?" After having dinner together, Lin Feng planned to leave, but at this time, it started to rain. Lin Feng and Wang Wei went to the roadside with umbrellas. Lin Feng wanted to take a taxi to leave, but after waiting for almost half an hour, there was no taxi. Car, not even the bus. "Isn't the bus on this route every 10 minutes, Lin Feng was a little depressed. "It's said to be every 10 minutes, but sometimes it doesn't take half an hour. This line is prone to traffic jams, it's the rush hour, and it's raining again, maybe it's blocked again," Wang Wei said. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, the car still didn't come. It was raining even harder. Lin Feng and Wang Wei were using an umbrella. Both of their arms were wet, and Lin Feng's shoes and trouser legs were also wet. "Lin Feng, why don't you go back to my house first and wait for the rain to stop before you leave?" "All right." Lin Feng could only go back to the single dormitory with Wang Wei, and sat on the sofa. Lin Feng lit a cigarette and started smoking. Wang Wei brought water and cut up the watermelon he bought during the day. Leaning on Lin Feng. "I'm a sad person now. I lost so much money. My heart is bleeding. I want to lean on your shoulder. Come on." "What did you say? Don't you want to rely on it?" "I'll let you rely on it," Lin Feng said. "You kid seems to be a bit of a rogue again. If it was before, I think I would lose my temper with you again. It is possible to push you out of my room, but I have no confidence now, you have helped me so much." Lin Feng didn't say anything. Gradually, the two of them fell silent, the rain kept falling, and they had no intention of stopping. It was already past 10 o'clock in the evening, and Lin Feng's heart was a little flustered. If he slept with Wang Wei tonight, he didn't know what would happen. If Wang Wei hadn't had such a big incident and had such a good chance, he would have slept with Wang Wei, but in the current situation, even if a wonderful thing happened, it would still be a lump in my heart when I recall it in the future. Maybe Wang Wei will not think much in the short term, but in a year or a few years later, Wang Wei will definitely think that he did that to her while taking advantage of the danger, and Lin Feng does not want to leave such a bad impression on Wang Wei at all. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 30. It's raining a lot, I'll go out to see if there's a car. Don't send me away. I'll take an umbrella and go back to your company to find you a meal and return it to you. Lin Feng stood up, Wang Wei also stood up, she hugged Lin Feng. "Don't leave, I'm so sad, you stay with me for one night, if you leave, I'm afraid I will cry and swell my eyes, and I plan to pay Sun Yueling's money back to He Xingkui tomorrow, and you can be a witness for me by your side." He Xingkui's money is of course the sooner the better. Lin Feng felt that Wang Wei's words were very reasonable, and said helplessly, "Okay, then I won't go, don't worry, I won't do anything to you, I'll do nothing. No, I'll sleep on the sofa." Wang Wei smiled. She felt that Lin Feng had a lot of personality, but she didn't realize that Lin Feng was a person with a lot of personality before. It was almost midnight. Wang Wei took a shower and fell asleep on the bed. Lin Feng didn't take a bath or take off his clothes, so he just lay down on the sofa. The old sofa was not long enough, and it was very uncomfortable to lie on it, but Lin Feng had to persevere all night. He didn't write much today, which made Lin Feng's heart a little empty, but that was the only way it could be. Wang Wei didn't feel sleepy at all, neither did Lin Feng. He could easily smell the scent of Wang Wei, which included the smell of body wash, shampoo, and skin. Wang Wei was lying on the bed in her pajamas and kept turning over. She felt very uncomfortable. No matter how she lay down, she felt uncomfortable. She had already become like this, but she was still thinking, if she was not obsessed with money and played with warrants, what would it be like if she still had all the money and didn't have to borrow money to pay usury? If that's the case, she will commute happily, and Lin Feng will not lie on her sofa. If that's the case, her savings will be more and more, and it will exceed 200,000 in the near future. Although prices will rise, it is a good thing to have more savings. Wang Wei started to think again, how much money she lost would have been arranged neatly on the table. A lot of it was very dazzling, but now it's gone. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, when Lin Feng was half asleep and half awake. With a thud, he fell from the sofa to the ground. Damn it, what's going on? When Lin Feng complained, Wang Wei laughed. Are you still someone who knows Kung Fu? There is no balance at all. I didn't notice it just now. When Lin Feng stood up and was about to lie down on the sofa again, Wang Wei jumped out of the bed, walked over barefoot, and grabbed him. Come on, don't wrong yourself, sleep on the bed with me, I do not blame you. From Wang Wei's point of view, as long as Lin Feng slept by her side, he would definitely do something to her. Even if she and Lin Feng really had that incident on this rainy night, she wouldn't blame Lin Feng. Wang Wei even thought about how much pain and blood she would bleed when Lin Feng rushed into her body. She will definitely be in pain, maybe she will cry right now, and then her slender legs will be twisting non-stop, she will definitely be bleeding, and her first daughter Hong will dye the sheets red. Lin Feng thought for a while, and lay down on the bed with Wang Wei. He smiled and said, let's both lie down, let's not turn sideways. All right. Wang Wei thought, don't pretend, you kid. If you want to move, you will move first. Your kid may touch my chest first, or you may rush into my trousers. Lying beside him was the girl who had always wanted to eat tofu, but Lin Feng was doing very well, lying flat all the time. Fidgeting. Lin Feng also thought about it, if he suddenly pressed on Wang Wei's body, he would feel Wang Wei's softness and her undulating lines. Wang Wei might not resist, and Wang Wei might also give in half. But he can't do that, because Wang Wei is a sad person now, and he can't go to Wang Wei as a benefactor, otherwise Wang Wei may despise him in a year or a few years. Lin Feng would rather not have this comfort nor let Wang Wei, an old friend, despise him, because that kind of feeling is not good. Wang Wei had been balancing for almost an hour, and one turned to face Lin Feng. She felt that Lin Feng seemed to be asleep, and she thought, you can really do it, you can bear it, you are a man. Wang Wei's breathing was a little uneven. At this time, she was very grateful to Lin Feng and wanted to repay him. The moment Wang Wei hugged Lin Feng, he woke up. Xiao Yi, hurry up and stop moving. Lin Feng grabbed her hand and put it aside. You're still trying, I'm going to hug you. Wang Wei hugged him again. Lin Feng got angry and shouted, go away, I'm going to sleep. Wang Wei shivered with fright, she was already very wronged, but when Lin Feng shouted, she was even more aggrieved. You must blame me for causing trouble for you and borrowing your money, so you are so cold to me. Forget it, I will not borrow your money, nor Sun Yueling's money, I will continue to owe Director He, I will find a way to pay him back. Woo woo woo. Wang Wei cried even more sadly. The resentment in Lin Feng's heart, he wanted to slap Wang Wei twice, he raised his hand and put it down, put Wang Wei in his arms, and said in a low voice, hurry up and stop crying, if you want to do something with me, then, when you get out of this pain, when you are in a good mood, let's do it once, do you think? I just want to do it now, maybe later, I don't want to. Forget it if you don't want to, I won't touch you now anyway. Are you afraid that if you have that kind of relationship with me, I will default on your debt and not pay you back? No, Xiaowei, don't think about it, okay? I'm sleepy. I'm sleeping. Lin Feng's head hurts a little. When they played together in college, Lin Feng felt that Wang Wei was a girl who was very indifferent to money. People around her asked her to borrow money. As long as she had it, she would borrow it. The clothes she wears and the cosmetics she uses are all very ordinary. Lin Feng couldn't believe it. Now Wang Wei is crazy about money. She never thought of selling her beautiful body for money, but the method she used was a bit too cruel, and her brain was a little unclear. Lin Feng believes that it is not a good thing for a girl to be too cruel to herself. There are many strong women in this world, but strong women may not necessarily live better than weak women. Wang Wei didn't continue to ask for anything. She could see that Lin Feng really didn't want to have anything to do with her tonight. Maybe Lin Feng didn't want to hurt her, maybe Lin Feng was worried about money. More than an hour passed, Lin Feng did not fall asleep, but Wang Wei was half dreaming and half awake. The scene floating in her mind seemed like a dream and a reality. Wang Wei's hand suddenly hit Lin Feng's body very hard, and the hit was right. It's Lin Feng's. Ah! What? Wang Wei felt that her hand had hit something very hard, like a pillar. Lin Feng was very depressed. That's my thing. You almost interrupted me just now. Is there such a thing as you? I'm sorry, I seemed to be dreaming just now, but I didn't seem to be. My hand didn't listen to my control just now, didn't I really interrupt you? No, hurry up and go to bed. Lin Feng turned to Wang Wei of the Northern Dynasty. Wang Wei's heart beat a lot faster. She said in her heart, Lin Feng, your kid's things are so hard, it must have stimulated me. It seems that lying by my side really tortured you, but I asked you to be you again. If you don't do it, you deserve to be tortured. When I feel better in the future, maybe I really don't want to do it with you. At that time, you will regret it. Wang Wei had thought before that even if she was really impulsive to an unbearable level, when she had to find a man to vent her impulsiveness, she would not look for Lin Feng, because she and Lin Feng were too familiar and were good friends. She would rather find a stranger, like a one-night kiss. But until now, Wang Wei has been impulsive many times. She has watched that kind of film many times, lying on the bed alone or crawling on the company table many times and fantasized about a man, but she has never found a one-night kiss, nor messed with any man. She is herself, very lonely and strong. She wants to become a rich woman. She wants to walk gracefully on the street with a Louis Vuitton bag like 100,000. She wants to drive a famous car, with arrogant eyes looking at those people through the car window. She wants to live in a mansion of 200 or 300 square meters, with high-end furniture and appliances, a big soft bed, and her high-heeled shoes can make a nice sound when stepping on the floor. If a friend comes to her house, she will not ask her friend to visit her. They had to put on slippers. She would treat her friends with good tea, let them enjoy the photos of her travels around the world, and tell them about the sights and stories she had seen and experienced. She thinks about everything, but she's losing money now. Her savings are gone, and she still owes 80,000 yuan in foreign debt. She doesn't want her parents out of town to worry about her, so she won't let them know about these things. From the beginning, she is a person who reports good news and not bad news. It's daybreak. Lin Feng and Wang Wei survived a special night. Lin Feng got up first and went out to buy breakfast, while Wang Wei continued to lie on the bed. Wang Wei felt that her body was awkward. Although Lin Feng didn't touch her, her were wet and stuck to her body. She had to change them. After sitting on the bed, Wang Wei leaned back and took off her panties, glanced at the spot, and put on new panties. Although it was dawn, Wang Wei still stimulated Lin Feng's heart, because Lin Feng hadn't left yet. If there was still a chance for something to happen, Wang Wei threw the pants she just changed onto the sofa. Lin Feng bought bean curd and fried dough sticks, tea and eggs, smiled and said, Wang Wei, eat, don't be depressed, you will be sunny, not just money, you can earn more if you lose. Lin Feng kept talking. When he saw the pants on the sofa, he immediately shut up. Before he went out to buy breakfast, there were no pants on the sofa. These pants were obviously thrown by Wang Wei just now. Although the trousers were bunched up, Lin Feng still found out that it was a pair of very wet trousers, and it was the water flowing out of Wang Wei's body that wet the trousers. Wang Wei, my old classmate, my good friend, you are a girl with a lot of water. I hope you will let me fall in love with you when you are in a good mood. At that time, I have to fall in love with you. Although we are just ordinary good friends, every time I see you before, I miss you very much. If I stand by your side for a minute, that thing of mine will harden, but I will not tell all of this. You may choose to tell you, maybe not tell you at all, lest you have an opinion on me. Lin Feng and Wang Wei had breakfast together. After a while, Sun Yueling's 50,000 yuan arrived in the account. Lin Feng and Wang Wei went to the bank together, took out the money, and placed 80,000 yuan on the coffee table. From the looks of it, 80,000 yuan is a lot, Wang Wei said. Actually, this money can't buy anything of value, but it can be used as living expenses for a long time, Lin Feng said. If you're like you, eating rice bowls and ramen every day and buying cheap clothes would take a long time, but those rich people can spend more than that in a club once, Wang Wei said. The rich and the poor have different perspectives on money, and the amount of visual impact is also different. We are both poor now, so we must be careful about money, Lin Feng said with a smile.